Hello students, welcome to Foundation course for the students who wish to take admissions in PU1 Science. Myself, Muttappa Chikkarayar, lecturer in physics, Dr. R.B. Patil, Mahesh PU College, Hubballi. Students, you might have came across word graph in class 9 and class 10. Now, we are going to study about graph in detail. In PUC 1 and PUC 2, you will be drawing more number of graphs in physics laboratory. Hence, studying about graph will be very useful in physics laboratory and theory. In this lecture, we are going to study about graphs and trigonometry. First, we will be studying about graph and then we will be showing how trigonometry is related with physics. Definition of graph. A graph is a line which shows the variation of one quantity with respect to other. The line may be straight or it may be curved. Okay, it is a diagrammatic study of variation of one quantity with respect to another one. Okay, this picture gives the clear idea about graph. Here we have a graph, distance versus time, and one of the graph is plotted for uniform motion and other one is plotted for non-uniform motion. For uniform motion, we get linearly straight line, and for non-uniform motion, we get curved path. Okay, this picture gives the clear idea about graph. Students, you may get question why we need to plot a graph or what is the necessary of plotting a graph. Graph in physics is very powerful method of presenting the information, and it is more easier to read and interpret the information. There are two main reasons for plotting a graph. First one, to communicate the results in an easily understandable manner. That is, we can tell the results of the experiment easily by plotting a graph. Second point, to help in the analysis of results. Even we can analyze the result by plotting a graph. In relation of two quantities, what do you mean by quantity? Anything that can be measured is called quantity. For example, distance. Okay, distance can be measured. Time can also be measured. Velocity can be measured. Mass can also be measured. All these are called as quantities. The quantity which is made to alter at a will is called independent variable, and the other quantity which varies as a result of this change is called dependent variable. Okay, the quantity whose value can be changed. The quantity whose value can be changed according to our will is called independent variable. For example, we can give some values for the quantity. Okay, if you take a time, you can take 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. That means we are giving some value and those values are independent value. Hence, such kind of quantities are called independent quantities or independent variables. And there is another quantity which depends upon the value of independent quantities. Hence, that quantity is called dependent variable. Okay, let me take the example. In relation F equal to m into a, where F is force, m is mass of the body and a is acceleration. For a given body, mass of the body is constant, hence F is directly proportional to a. Okay, here the value of acceleration depends on the value of force. Okay, if you increase the value of force, the value of acceleration increases. If you decrease the value of force, the value of acceleration decreases. That means acceleration is depending on force. Hence, force is independent variable and acceleration is dependent variable. Independent variable is represented along x-axis and dependent variable is represented along y-axis. Steps to plot a graph. First step, choosing the axis. Okay, here we have to draw two perpendicular lines and they are meeting at a point. Okay, horizontal line is named as x-axis and vertical line is named as y-axis, and independent variable is taken along x-axis and dependent variable is taken along y-axis. Second step, choose the suitable scale. Okay, to plot the graph, we have to choose the scale. It's an important point. Why we need to choose the scale? So whatever the information we have collected, that whole information should be fitted in the given graph. For that, we have to choose the scale. We have to choose the scale. If scale is very large, whatever the data is collected will not fit in the length of the graph. Or if scale is very small, we find the points are crowded. Therefore, we have to choose a suitable scale so that all the points or all the data should fit in the given graph. Third step, plotting the points. Okay, we have to locate the points on the graph. Okay, I have shown few points here and all these points are located on the graph. And step 4, joining the points. Okay, join these points and the line should pass through origin. Okay, when you join all the points, we get a solid line and that line is passing through origin. That means here both are directly proportional to each other. Hence, we are getting linearly increasing straight line. Fifth step, finding the slope of the graph. Draw a triangle to the line and that triangle is named as ABC. Okay, here one side of this triangle is perpendicular to x-axis and other side of the triangle is perpendicular to y-axis, and third side will lie on this straight line. Now the slope of the graph is given by slope equal to m, that is equal to BC divided by AB. Okay, with the help of this we can find the value of slope of the graph. Some graphs for various equations. Okay, here we are going to discuss some equations and I'll be showing some equations and I'll be showing some nature of graph for the related equations and we'll not be discussing in detail. First one, y equal to constant. Okay, for all the graph, x and y will be the variables. Okay, though the value of x changes, there is no change in the value of y. Hence, the nature of graph is shown by this graph. Okay, here the line is parallel to x-axis. Okay, this shows that the value of y will remain constant. Second equation, y equal to m into x. Here, when you put x equal to 0, y is equal to 0. When you plot a graph for this equation, we get this nature. Okay, here we get linearly increasing straight line and that line is passing through origin. Third one, y equal to mx plus c. Here c is a constant and this constant is represented by intercepting on y-axis. Okay, the nature of graph for this is given by this and the line is intercepting at positive y-axis. Okay, this is the intercept of positive y-axis and that value will represent c. That means when x is equal to 0, y will have some value at initial, and as the value of x increases, even there is an increase in the value of y and it is linearly increasing 1. Next equation, y equal to mx minus c. Okay, now in this equation, the value of c is negative and the nature of graph for this is shown by this, and here the line intercepts in negative y-axis. Okay, that means initially when x equal to 0, y will have negative value. As we increase the value of x, the value of y will move towards positive. Once mx is equal to c, then y is equal to 0, and then further increasing the value of x will give the positive value of y. Equation fifth one, y equal to minus x plus c. Okay, here when the value of x increases, the value of y decreases, and it is shown by this nature of graph. Here the value of y decreases linearly with the increase in the value of x. In this case, we get negative slope. Equation number 6, y equal to ax plus b into x square. Okay, for this kind of equations, the nature of graph is shown by this. Okay, there is an rapid increase in the value of y with a slight increase in the value of x. Okay, this is the nature of graph for given above equation. Seventh one, y equal to e to the power of minus k into x. Okay, this equation is called exponential equation, and since there is a minus sign, therefore the value of y decreases exponentially, and it is shown by the graph. Okay, here initially the value of y will be maximum, and its value goes on decreasing as the value of x increases. Equation 8, y is equal to sine theta. Okay, here the expression is represented in terms of trigonometric function or trigonometric ratio. Okay, instead of x we are taking theta, and this equation will represent the nature of wave. Okay, the graph is shown by this nature. Okay, for different values of theta, the value of y changes between maximum and minimum. According to the equation, it changes between 1 and minus 1. Hence, this is the nature of graph for given above equation. We have one more equation in terms of cos function, that is y is equal to cos theta. The nature of graph for this is given by this. Okay, for different values of theta, the value of y changes between 1 and minus 1. Okay, these two equations are represented by trigonometric ratios, and by this we come to know that a trigonometry is used in physics by using these ratios. Next, slope of the graph. Here, let us study how to find the slope of the graph. Okay, I am taking two variables, and those two variables are x and y. X is plotted along x-axis, y quantity is plotted along y-axis, and these two are linearly varying, hence we get a straight line passing through origin. Consider 2 points. Draw a triangle to this line and name the triangle ABC, and this line is making an angle theta with horizontal, and the triangle is named as ABC. Here one side of the triangle is perpendicular to x-axis, another side of the triangle is perpendicular to y-axis, and third side lies on the line. And by this we come to know that whatever the triangle is drawn, that triangle is right angle triangle. Okay, in this case CB represents opposite, AB represents base, hence the length of CB is given by delta y and the length of AB is given by delta x. Then we can write the formula for slope of the graph, and that is given by slope of the graph is equal to m, that is equal to tan theta, that is equal to CB divided by AB, that is equal to delta y divided by delta x. Here slope is defined in terms of tan theta. Okay, even tan theta is a trigonometric ratio, and we define tan theta in terms of opposite divided by base, and opposite is given by CB and base is given by AB. Therefore CB is given by delta y and base is given by delta x. Hence, the slope of the graph is given by delta y by delta x. Okay, with the help of this formula, we can find the value of slope. Assume that a man is pulling a cart. Okay, it is shown by this picture. Okay, here a man is pulling a cart and cart is moving along horizontal direction. And the force is making some angle with horizontal direction. Okay, the force is not along the horizontal direction. The applied force is making some angle theta with horizontal direction. That means the whole force is not utilized in moving a body along horizontal direction. Only a part of force is used in moving a body in a horizontal direction, and remaining part of force is utilized in balancing the weight of the body. Okay, to find the value of component of force along horizontal direction and along vertical direction, we have to resolve this force into its rectangular component. Horizontal component is given by F cos theta and vertical component is given by F sin theta. The component of force along x-axis is given by F cos theta and the component of force along y-axis is given by F sin theta. Okay, here to resolve the force into its rectangular components, we are using trigonometric ratios. Again, a trigonometry is used in this concept. In vectors, dot product of two vectors is given by vector A dot vector B is equal to AB cos theta, and cross product of two vectors is given by vector A cross vector B is equal to AB sin theta. Okay, in this case also, again we are using trigonometric ratios. Okay, by this we come to know that trigonometry is very useful in physics. Okay, this is how trigonometry is related with physics. Uses of graphs. First point, slope of the graph drawn between x and y variables at any point gives instantaneous rate of change of y with respect to x. Okay, if you draw a slope for the variables x and y at any given point gives the instantaneous rate of change of y with respect to x. Okay, suppose let me assume that a graph is plotted between displacement and time, and if you draw a slope at any point on the curve gives the instantaneous value of velocity. Second point, slope of chord joining two points on the graph drawn between x and y variables gives the average value dy by dx between these 2 points. Okay, when you find the slope between 2 points, gives the average value between those 2 points. Okay, again I am going to take the graph between displacement and time, and when you plot a graph we get a straight line, and that line is called as a chord, and if you take 2 points and draw the slope, then that gives the average velocity of the particle or a body between those 2 points. Third point, the intercepts of graph on x and y axis will give us the value of important physical constants and quantities. Okay, the intercepts on x and y axis will give the values of physical constants and quantities. Fourth point, the area under the graph gives the value of various physical quantities. Okay, if you draw an area under the given graph, then we get the value of various physical quantities. Students, I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you.